What's up, everybody? Andrew Carroll here with you. Episode 2 of the Journey podcast. We have Sean with us today. Sean, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm Sean. I'm from Dallas, Texas. Traveling out to Houston right now for work, and bumped into this guy, and here we are.
I would like to say that I think bumped is a pretty nice way to say that. I was like, look, man, I'm thirsty as hell. I need you to maybe please be on this podcast with me. And he looked at me, and with a tear in his eye, he was like, look, I can tell you're desperate, and helping other people is the nicest thing that I can do. I'll help you out. So, Sean, first of all, dude, I'm grateful, legitimately grateful for you saying yes.
Yeah, no worries,
because I was just blessed to attend this conference, right? It was a 3-day conference. It was hosted by Jonathan Sprinkles. Oh my God, that man is, ridiculously amazing. And
I honestly don't even know who he is, right?
Well, if you were a public speaker or you were into in that life, you would. He's a phenomenal human being, and he's changing lives left and right.
That's awesome.
And he instilled in me this idea of done is better than perfect. And so here we go, trying to shoot a podcast on a cell phone, no equipment, at random. And
you got this awesome sugar packet thing that's
y'all don't even know. Y'all don't even know that the phone is being held up by a sugar packet holder in a bar at the moment. And it's also the year of yes, man. And you said yes to me. And I was actually challenged to start the podcast by a good friend of mine, Joe Graffio, who I was fortunate enough to meet at this conference. And he said, he was asking me some questions. He was like, so what's stopping you from doing it? What are the steps? And so I listed some things out, and he's like, I officially challenge you to start it. I was like, you sneaky son of a gun, you got me. You got me. So, Sean, tell us a little bit about, you, man.
So, I've mentioned before, live in Dallas, married, very happily married for...
Time out. We've got a cheers. Cheers.
Thank you for the beer, sir.
Airport beers deserve a cheers, right? Absolutely, every time. All right, I apologize for the interruption.
Yeah.
What Sean has to say is way more important than that. So let's get it, man.
Sure.
Let's get it.
So been married for, was married in 2005, so going on 14 years now. It'll be 14 years in April.
Give the lovely lady a shout out, man.
Shout out to Allie, love you, babe.
Allie, I love you too. This is a good dude. You're a winner, because he's a catch. I can tell already. Gosh. He's a catch. So that's awesome. Awesome.
Wife of 14 years, got 2 kids at home.
Yes.
8-year-old and a 5-year-old. They are my world. Everything revolves around them, right? Awesome. I mean, it's just amazing. So they're the reason I do what I do. They're the reason I stay busy and want to make sure that I'm doing the best that I can every single day. So not only can I provide for them, but so I can set a good example for them, so that when they grow up, they know that hard work produces results.
Hard work does produce results, and a lot of people seem to forget that lately, So dig into that a little bit for me. What is it that's gone on in your life that has shown you the value of hard work?
Man, it's a great question. So I'd say just my career and where I'm at, I'm definitely not like a high position by any stretch of the imagination, but I've never been the smartest person, never been the most talented person, but by perseverance and by hard work, I can continue to progress in my career. And I think it's one of the few things that we can control on a day-to-day basis. So we can control our attitude, and we can control the effort that we put in. And if you can control the controllables, you can be successful at anything you put your mind to.
What just happened? Did you hear that? Sean, just dumping life advice into your heart and soul. Take that and run with it. Because what he just described to you it's a legitimately proven system by people that are successful across the board. Hard work pays dividends, right? And anyone can learn to work hard. Because if you consistently do something, you will get good at it. You get good at what you practice. You get good at what you do. So if you're going to sit in some negativity and you're not going to value yourself or your time, you're going to get really, really, really good at not valuing your
absolutely.
time or being productive.
So I think the other thing is you can't be afraid of failure, because I think too many people look at something and they say,
do you see how excited I am?
But it's true though. I think too many people, they look at something and it's like the duck on the pond, right? You look at a duck and it seems to be effortlessly floating through the water. That's what you see. That's the perception. What you don't see is all the paddling and all the hard work that's done underneath.
They kick their legs like hummingbird wings, dude.
100%. 100%. And I guarantee you, every successful person has a track record of failure. It's not just that they get from point A to point B and it was an easy journey. Nope. It's how you deal with that failure that defines you as a person.
Did we just discover a gem of a human being or what?
Gosh.
No. You have no idea, man. You're so on message for me, because I wholeheartedly believe that failure is always a learning opportunity,
Absolutely.
man. If you're not learning from your failures, you're doomed to failure.
You're missing the boat.
Because an after-action report, an analysis of what you've done and like where you've been and what did work and didn't work, is probably the most valuable tool in your toolbox.
No question.
That's arguably, you could say that's the only reason humans have memories, because otherwise, what benefit do they have to our evolution? Right?
Absolutely.
And did it work or didn't it? Because back in the day, it either worked or you were dead. So, right?
Pretty much.
And now, as like life is so easy-ish, that it either works or you're uncomfortable, or you can make the argument that you're uncomfortable or you're more comfortable. So if you're putting in hard work and you're evaluating your failures and you're just trying to be better, right, constantly and consistently, you're going to get good at being better.
You got to have that drive though. It's got to be constant improvement, and you got to be your own biggest self-critic, because no one else is going to hold your hand and do it for you.
Now, okay, that's a really, really beautiful thing to say, man. You got to be your own strongest critic, right?
No question.
How do you do that compassionately?
You set goals. You set goals that are attainable, that are measurable, and you hold yourself accountable to them.
Oh my God, I'm about to hug you. Like, you need to calm down. You need to calm down. So, tell them again. Tell them again. They need to hear this. Everybody needs to hear this, man. Across the whole world. You set goals
that are actionable and attainable and measurable.
Attainable and measurable.
I think the measurable is the important thing, because if you don't have a way to measure that goal, how do you know if you succeeded at it or not? So when you can measure those goals, you can hold yourself accountable to where you're at as far as your journey to hit them.
That is absolutely true. So how important is it to you to have a list of immediate, short-term, and long-term goals?
Extremely important. Extremely important. You can't just wake up one day and say you're going to be the CEO of a company.
Time out, because they're shouting out. Look super bored. The overhead, man. What are we going to do about that? That's real life in an airport, trying to get this podcast done.
But no, as far as your question about goals, I mean, if you don't have your steps on how you're going to achieve your long-term goal, you're never going to get there. It can basically say like, hey, I want to get from here, I want to get from Houston back home to Dallas. All right, well, if I don't have a map on how I'm going to get there, it's never going to be accomplished.
I love that. So my follow-up question to that is, it obviously to me has to be, how important is it for the achievement of goals to have goals that align with your purpose and values? And I ask that, and I'll give you a second to think about it while I preach this message a little bit. I personally have had goals in my life that I was like, oh, I'm going to be this or I'm going to be that, because I thought it brought social status or recognition, but I didn't actually give a shit about it at all.
No,
I didn't care at all.
Then why are you even doing it?
That's just it. Because it didn't align with my actual real values. I just wanted some social status. So I just had these garbage goals, right, that I would never achieve, which in turn, a vicious cycle. You're like, oh, I never achieved this or that, and I feel like I'm worthless.
No.
Well, you're not, because you didn't actually care about that in the first place.
There's one person that you got to impress in this world, and it's you look at him in the mirror every day.
Or the camera. Look, how handsome is this guy? Like, right? Yes. And Beard Brothers.
Beard Bros.
Stroke it out. So good. All right. So that's some really valuable information for everybody, man. We're talking about goals. We're talking about hard work. It's a really good time to plug my 3 I's, which are new to you. You've never heard of these.
Yeah.
It's intelligently, intentionally, and immediately. Right? Intelligence is a skill. The definition of intelligence is the ability to apply new knowledge and skills. Right? So if you practice intelligence, you will get better at being intelligent.
Yeah.
So get out there and crush that shit. Everybody can be intelligent, and it's all about putting in the hard
work.
The hard work, right? We've already heard that. So intentionally, have a purpose. Be serious about what you're doing. Like, I'm sitting here enjoying a beer with my new friend Sean, and I was intentional about speaking to him. He walked up to Patrick and I. He was minding his own business, but I looked at him and I introduced myself a little bit, and I was intentional about that, and he was receptive. And you were intentional about receiving me. Like, I really felt that way. And immediately, done is better than perfect. I already mentioned that. Done is better than perfect. And that's a message that was taught to me this weekend. That is something that keeps me in analysis paralysis constantly. Sean?
Paralysis by analysis is a real thing.
I get so scared. There's a fear barrier of, I might try and do something and it's not going to be a finished, polished product and nobody's going to care.
Well, what did you say? Done is better than perfect.
Done is better than perfect, man. And
a buddy of mine had this saying that it was actually his father's saying. His father passed away at a young age, and this guy's one of my best friends growing up, and we've unfortunately lost touch a little bit. But his dad always used to wear suspenders, and so he tattooed these suspenders on himself after his father passed away.
Yes.
And he wrote on there, DIY, DIN. Do it yourself, do it now. And it means don't wait. You don't need to wait for others to help you accomplish things. You do it yourself, and when you do it now.
Did you hear that? Do it yourself and do it now.
Yep.
You are a treasure trove of beauty, man. Like, what just happened? We were meant to know each other.
Right on, brother.
Another really cool thing about Sean that I learned is that he's a social media ghost.
Yeah.
He has none of it. I was like, hey, how do I get a hold of you? And he was like, I might write down my email on a napkin. Don't get it wet. And I was like, fair enough,
Pretty much
man.
nailed it.
Fair enough. Like, that's cool, you know? But
you may have to cut this short, though, unfortunately.
Sean has to get on the plane. And this is the danger of the Journey podcast. Is like, oh my God, dude, a treasure trove of information and a phenomenal human, man.
Appreciate it, man. Likewise.
Bring it in. Dude, like, seriously.
Bro hug.
You are an amazing human.
Thanks,
and I'm
buddy.
glad to know you.
You too.
If this takes off and a couple people listen, you're coming back on.
I'll write down my email address.
Yes, we got napkins.
We're good to go.
It's all good. Sean, thank you so much,
Thank you, man.
If you
Appreciate
have anything to say to the people, I'm always going to close out this way. It's always going to be this way. If you could say anything to the world, to America, to just eliminate some divisiveness and bring people together and strengthen the community of humans that we are to realize some compassion and love for each other, what would it be, man? And I'm really excited for this because, oh my God, did you hear what he has said this entire time?
No, that's the easy one. I mean, listen. That's it. Just listen. 2 ears, 1 mouth. Listen. Communication's the key.
2 ears, 1 mouth. Listening. Dude, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Anytime, man.
Thanks
for having me.
Look them in the eye and tell them one more time to listen, man.
Listen. It's all about communication.
It's all about communication. Sean, I love you, man.
Likewise, bro.
I just radiate the best intentions for you. That you will make this plane that's 20 feet away.
Oh, is it right there?
You got this, You got this, man. We'll talk to you later. This has been Andrew Carroll and Sean, episode 2 of the Journey podcast. Be well, love yourselves, and help a neighbor. And talk to you later.